Palm, and we are live.
Live.
Hi.
And you want to introduce the famous Robert Palm
This is Robert Palm.
with
Hi.
Truckers Final Mile?
The Truckers Final Mile.
With Truckers Final Mile.
And you are
I am Ariel, like the mermaid.
Ariel, like the mermaid, here at Denny's.
Denny.
And should we show them your lovely nails? Let's go on. Look at these nails, folks. These are what you call beautiful nails
And I'm in the sun.
with beautiful ink. So is that what is the significance of that ink?
This is my brother. He passed away 2 years ago. It just has meaning. He would love me to the moon and back. So that's the moon.
That is fantastic, Ariel. And we're here live with Robert Palm, and Ariel brought us some
We got
coffees,
some coffee and waters.
coffee and waters, so that we can do a live interview here at the Denny's. And how long have you been at Denny's for?
I have been here about 2 years. I worked at another truck stop, a TA at Petro, for
Okay.
about 3 years, 4 years.
Oh, so you're used to us truck drivers then?
Yes, I am.
Yes, especially good-looking guys like that. You got to
Where
watch them.
are you pointing to?
And anybody have any questions for Ariel? Well, we've got her on. Let's just, I'll just be 2 more seconds while we've got you on there and saying hi. Do you have any tables waiting for you right now?
Oh, no. I am.
Are we holding you up?
No,
Oh.
we're okay.
Oh, good.
Cool. We're going to
So-
sit and chat with Ariel tonight.
So how do you like Denny's?
Oh, it's good. It's a good
It's
job.
fantastic.
Especially for us young.
Hello? Ken, you want to go, you want to share it out? We're live.
So you work.
Okay, thank you.
Patricia's
Okay.
your boss?
Yes.
Main boss? Yeah. She's a good lady.
Patricia's a really good lady.
Do you know Matt?
Yes.
Is he still out of Edgewood?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll just be 2 more seconds here. I'm just going to see if anybody has any questions for you. And this phone of mine is moving slow. It's like me, it's moving slow. And what's your favorite meal here?
My favorite meal here, the nachos are really good.
You're a nacho
The
person.
nachos. Yeah.
And does anybody have any questions for Ariel? Oh, it says, evening, Dave and friends. Love the tattoo.
Thank
They
you.
love your ink. And Kevin Lambert says hello from Minnesota to
Hello.
Ariel.
Hello.
And hopefully meeting you again sometime soon. Robert Palm from Michael Paul Warner.
Hey, Michael.
And Michael Wells says, howdy, brother. And Jody says, hi, good evening, Dave and Robert. Hope you're doing well tonight. Don't forget Ariel,
Oh.
because Ariel is our special star.
She's our little hostess.
Yeah, we got TJ Young saying hello all. And Peggy Lydia Zurkowski all the way from Yorkton, Canada,
Oh, that's
where it's
awesome.
colder than a mother-in-law's kiss.
That is so cool.
And you can say hi to Ariel. And Dennis Abbott says, howdy doody, Dave. And I think we've caught up. Thank you so
Awesome.
much, Ariel. You have to
Okay.
come back and say hi again
I will
to
come
them.
by and
Absolutely.
stop by.
Yeah, bring-
Awesome.
Thank
The
you so
Little
much.
Mermaid.
Yes, the mermaid.
The mermaid will be back.
The Little Mermaid.
I'm sorry, folks, to take Ariel's place. That's probably pretty disappointing for people.
It's going to be shocking for the eyes.
It's gotta
gotta
be.
hurt.
Yeah, they have this beautiful woman, and then
it's
you have a
Dave.
mermaid, and then suddenly a whale.
Right.
That's terrible.
Right.
Keith Bazin says, good evening, guys. And Tammy Martins, hi, all. How are you doing, Tammy Martins? And we're here with Robert Palm, of course, from Truckers Final Mile, and doing a special show from the Denny's. I'm going to move the camera a little more this way towards Roberto.
Oh, man.
There we go.
Yeah, you just bouncing off of you, huh?
Well, since we got rid of Ariel, our superstar mystery guest, we had to have the next best looking person on the thing here.
Right.
So Keith says, there goes the ratings. And Darlene says, look at your pasty white legs. I know.
He's got his boots on with his shorts.
Yeah. And Michael Paul Warner says, met you at Truckers for Hope last year, Robert
Yep,
Paul.
I remember Michael. Yes, sir,
Yep.
I do. I see him all the time on our Truckers Final Mile Facebook page.
And
Yep.
thank you for doing that. We
Absolutely.
really appreciate that. And
Yep.
we're going to do something special tonight when people come on. We're going to give a link. Well, there's a link on there already to truckersfinalmile.org, but what we're going to do is we're going to put that link out there, and we're going to ask people if for the next week you could take $10, $10 even, more would be great, and donate it to truckersfinalmile.org, because the shows, a lot of the big shows that he goes to, and this is all funded by you out there, they've been canceled this year. Now, fortunately, he's on his way to the 75 Chrome Shop at exit 329 on Highway 75 in Florida.
That's correct. Yeah.
And folks, if you're going to that, I gotta ask you to go to M&M Smokehouse there. You'll have to go to M&M. There are two veterans there that run it.
Okay.
They're just on the other side of the 75 by the
Okay.
McDonald's,
Yeah.
and they are fantastic. Let
I
them
will
know
tell
you're.
them you sent.
Yeah, tell them that I sent you.
Yeah.
And they are disabled veterans. They run it, and it is the best barbecue I have tasted in the world.
Okay.
And I'm not just saying it because it's true, because as you know, I like Cooper's and a few places like that. But
You just like to eat.
I like to eat, but they are fantastic there. So if you're going to Florida, when does that show start?
Well, I'll be there Thursday to pre-set up. Friday, Saturday, Sunday's the show.
So guess what?
And if I can mention Mr. Tony Justice
Oh, is Tony going to be there?
will be
Hey,
performing at the show.
Tony Justice is
and I don't have
fantastic.
the whole itinerary of anything
Yeah.
with me today, but I'll be there Thursday. Look for us.
God, I wonder if I can get north and south fast enough to make this show.
Put a
That'd
rocket
be-
on that sled.
Yeah,
Robert.
maybe I should tell them they need to reload me in Florida, and I'll pay for the empty miles. Because
Come on, I'll throw
they
you a
have
chain.
loads out of Florida.
Yeah,
so
let's go.
The I'm just looking. We got a lot of people coming on. Tammy Martin says, "God bless your organization, Robert.
Thank you,
My
Tammy.
dad was injured and then passed away while on the road. Thankfully, he worked for a very special person that looked after both my mom, getting to my dad, and my dad's remains home for us. All folks are so lucky. Yes, there
That's
are
a
some
blessing.
good companies out
Yeah.
there, and I'm sure glad you found one." Shauna Gray says, "Lucky Robert, you'll love their barbecue at M&M."
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll do a shout out
And
from there.
Miko is sharing. If people could share this out, we're going to talk about truck shows that are coming out. We're going to talk about raising some funds for truckersfinalmile.org, because you never know who you know that may need it, and I hope you never need it out there. But
We don't want anybody to need it.
no. You know what?
It-
Robert
it-
Palm would
it's-
like to be out of business.
Yeah,
actually.
absolutely. We don't
Yeah.
want to do this.
No.
In our industry, in the trucking industry, there should never be a need for this. You know, everyone talks about family, and everyone talks about their drivers are the best, and they do the advertising on the side of the trailer about the most important asset. And we shouldn't have to be doing this. We're a 501c3 charity organization, but if the companies took care of their own, we wouldn't be doing this. They are under no obligation to take care of their own. There's no law, statute, regulation, ordinance, or mandate requiring any company to bring any driver home for any reason. And if they don't, well, we're here to fill that gap.
And thank goodness he is. And I've told Robert's story a number of times. Hey, Earl, thanks for joining us. John Duham, thanks for joining us from the Duham family up there in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. And, the reason why Robert is doing this is because there is that need. How many people did you bring home last year? Did you get a final total?
Last year we assisted in bringing home 56 drivers.
56 people.
Of the, we have other programs
Yes.
other than just the loss of life. We helped bring home 56 persons, and of those 45 were deceased, and of those 14 were prior service military.
Wow.
That soldiers come home, they end time in service, and they look for another way to serve our country. And
Yep.
that's by being in a truck and being an essential, individual out there helping us with load the shelves and provide fuel and housing and all that. So, our veterans come home and they continue to serve, and we've had to assist bringing home 14 of them through our organization just in 2020.
Because without trucking, there'd be nothing.
That's right.
That's not just a catchphrase.
That's right.
That is, you can take that to the bank. That without trucking, there'd be nothing. Craig Cowan says, I'm eating again. I'm always eating. I was looking at
I made him wait. He says, well, we're going to eat and do the video. I said, no, first we're going to do the video, then we're going to eat. So we got our drinks from Ariel, the mermaid, and we're just going to chat with everyone and let them know what they need to know about our organization, and then Dave gets to eat.
So he's going to starve me
That's
till
right.
I do
Hold
it.
him up.
Darryl Ward, I was looking. I posted a video we did together at the
Right.
Mid-American Truck Show, and we were at Texas Roadhouse having something to eat. I was sitting with the lovely Jennifer Brennan and while we're doing the video, Jennifer said something like, Dave's eating again. And Darryl Ward says, I don't think I've ever done a video with Dave when he wasn't eating.
Right. Well, we're going to try and make this one where you're not eating. We're going to do this for as long as it takes, and then Dave will get to eat.
And then we're going to eat.
That's right.
So what we're going to, hey, there's Andrea Duham. Hey, Andrea, how are you doing? And thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. And Michael Paul Warner says that's one thing that is missing in trucking is the family aspect anymore. Yes, it really
Absolutely.
has depreciated at things. Earl Little says, evening, Dave. Are you still in Winnipeg, Earl? Are you on the road and down? And we've got Fred here, Fred Schwawander. And I screwed up your name, Fred. I apologize. Dave, eat only one a day, but then 16 hours long. Once a day, but 16 hours long.
Right.
One of the things that Fred wanted me to do when I get across from Robert Palm is hand him $25. $25 from Fred to start off.
Thank you, Fred.
And Fred wanted to do that donation to show people that, hey, $25, we spend $25. I'll spend $25 tonight here at Denny's. We spend $10 if we so much as go to get coffee or anything else like that. So what I'm asking, Hank Holloway Chunk says, hats off to you and your organization, Robert, for the work you do to bring truckers home.
Thank you, Hank.
And Craig Cowan says that will be the first eating comes second. Earl's in the pig. And Fred says, hey, Dave, give him the empty gift card. That's right. And hey, Dave, still waiting for mail. Yes, Karen. Oh, thanks for the reminder and thanks for being on. And Richard Toker says it's snowing in Harlington, Montana. Well, time to park. And Fred said, thanks, Dave. Thank you, Fred. Thank you for starting this off. Carl Freeman says, good evening. What I'm going to do is I've got, which on Friday, I got 3 gift cards here. I've got a Visa gift card, which is $50 on it. And I've got 2 Flying J gift cards from our good friends at the Pilot Flying J that are worth $25 a piece. And this is all I'm going to ask, is you go to truckersfinalmileorg and you donate $10 or more. And for every $10 you donate, I'll put your name in for the draw. Now, I know it's not about winning, the gift cards or anything else like that. It's about helping out trucking. But that just sweetens it, makes it a nice little contest, because I'm going to watch all week. I'm going to play this video this week. I'm going to talk this week. And on Friday, we're going to draw the 3 names. First for the $25 gift cards, US dollars on those Pilot Flying J, and then for the $50 US Visa, that somebody's going to say thank you for giving $10 or more. So, for example, Fred just put in $25, right, which means Fred is in there twice, right, for the draw already. Right. So, and Fred kicked it off tonight.
Well, I need to let everyone know that we love Pilot Flying J. For the 4th consecutive year, they contributed $15,000 at the beginning of
Nice.
2021.
Wow.
And not only did Pilot Flying J contribute $15,000 this year, they are the only fueling location, travel center, truck stop that has supported us.
Wow.
So
Pilot-
Pilot Flying J.
Pilot Flying J does a lot for truckers.
Yes.
I didn't pay for these. I just told Pilot Flying J that I need a couple of gift cards to give away, that we're raising money for truckersfinalmileorg. I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad I'm here too.
And they just gave them
See
to
what
me.
happens when you don't eat?
I don't know. See, my mind is stopped. So we're gonna do that. Marianne Lewis says, "Hey Dave, where are you heading tonight?" I'm headed to Texas. And Carl Freeman says it's 9 Celsius in Oshawa. It's cold. Tammy Martin says, "Hope you're all right and make it home safely, Slick." Yes, and you know what? We can talk about it for a minute because I think we should. Michael Paul Warner says, "Been in the shop getting my glasses Monday, hopefully squared away to get back chasing the end of that long white line." And Keith Bazin says, "Hey Robert, do you have the shock collar on Dave?"
No, but I got a whip over here. And he's got his little shorts on and his boots with it, so you know.
Yeah, I actually am wearing my
You might
steel-toed
dance for
boots
us later.
with a pair of shorts on. I was going to put my runners on. I didn't have a chance.
Right.
There's Cecile Toker, the beautiful mother, an angel of Richard Toker. That Slick says, "Hi Dave, thank you very much for being with Richard. You are my trucking angel." Oh, thank you, Cecile. You are just a fantastic person and a great mother. Your kids are so lucky to have you. And Sean Lyon says, "Good evening, John. How are you doing today?" And everybody else.
Yeah.
There's a John here someplace.
John's
But yes, good evening, Sean. Thanks for joining. And and again, if you've just come on, I'm with Robert Palm from truckersfinalmileorg. And we're going to talk about it a bit. We talked about all the people he helps, the truck drivers, the veterans that are truck drivers. But more importantly, it's not them so much as being helped as the families.
Yeah.
The families, the people that you leave behind, that he gets the remains home so that they can put the driver to rest and the whole family can grieve, and he takes that off their plate. The horrible feeling about how do we get our loved one home.
You know, when you pass away, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get it like that. When a person passes away in their hometown, it's relatively easy to make the arrangements. You know, family goes to the funeral home, our loved one passed away, he's at the medical examiner's office. It's a simple professional car ride from the medical examiner to the funeral home, usually just a few miles. When a loved one passes away 1,000 miles from home, there's a huge difference. And I want to make it clear that Truckers Final Mile does not physically handle the decedent. We want those that are trained, educated, and experienced professionals being with the decedent every step of the process. When a person passes away 1,000 miles from home, in most situations, you're going to need to have 2 funeral homes. The funeral home in your hometown, where the family goes down and makes the arrangements, and then the funeral home in the city where the loss of life occurred. There are certain times when you will have to have 3 funeral homes. Because in a rural environment, for example, here in New Mexico, a loss of life occurs down south in Deming. That area is a rural area, and the funeral homes down there rotate an on-call basis. And they bring the deceased to the medical examiner in Albuquerque, and then they're done.
Yep.
So your hometown funeral home would contact another funeral home in Albuquerque to recover the decedent from the medical examiner's office and make any necessary preparations to bring the decedent home. So the funeral home in Albuquerque would do any autopsy repair. They would absorb the cost of the mileage from Deming to Albuquerque. They would prepare the decedent for flight, whether it's embalming or what have you, ensure that any and all travel permits are in order. The death certificate is mainly prepared in the state where the loss of life occurred, and then the flight home. So the local funeral home would then go to the airport and recover the remains and bring the decedent to the funeral home for the funeral. And what Truckers Final Mile does is all those associated costs to bring that decedent to the front door of their hometown funeral home. That is our mission, to eliminate that burden, from the trucker's family. There are times where we have seen that a lease owner operator, for example, that is in a lease agreement with a carrier, sometimes those final settlement, they don't go to the family, they go to that truck payment. If a company assists, sometimes it's a partial assistance. Our average cost to bring a driver home in the loss of life is anywhere from $1,800, $2,400, $2,600, depending on the circumstances. We approach every company. I talk to each owner, CEO, HR director, CFO, whomever, and I approach them for a donation. Occasionally, it might be $500 of the $2,800 it cost us, but they did participate to a certain extent. Sometimes it's we're sorry, there's nothing we could do right now. And recently, we had a driver pass away, and it was, we've got this.
Nice.
How much do you need? Because we had prepaid the arrangements.
Yeah.
How much did you put out? We want to do this. We want to do this. How do we contact the family members to make sure that we take care of the funeral?
Nice.
So you get every angle of the industry anymore. And there's companies that have never responded back to us.
No.
Where we've gotten their driver home, but that's what we do. That's what we're for.
Right.
So we take care of all that. Yeah, if you want to come around this way. Yep. Thanks, Ariel. Our little mermaid's back.
Our mermaid's back. Do you want to say hi to the people again? If you pull that chair out, I think you would be in the. You could lean it over the table and just say hi.
I have a couple of things to do.
Okay. She's gonna just a real quick.
It's Ariel, folks. She's
That's
back.
right. She's back.
Yeah, with coffee. Yeah. Thanks, Ariel.
Of course, would you like some coffee?
No, I'm good. I'm good for right now. Thank you.
And so, like I was saying, there's a minimum of 2 funeral homes involved, sometimes 3, and we help with the logistics for the family. We assist. We talk to every family member directly. I make sure I talk to every family, and I talk to every company to see if they want to assist. Sometimes we get a request for assistance that may come in on a weekend or a holiday, and you can't get a hold of the CEO or anybody in a decision-making capability at the company. So it has occurred where we've begun the process of getting the driver home, and the company has taken over from that point. So that's our first of 6 programs.
Which is fantastic. And I can't even thank you enough for doing these programs, because the families that get the relief of knowing that someone's out there helping them. I mean, it is, if anybody's lost people in the past and you've lost them, as you say, in their hometown, you're kind of at a loss right there. Who do we contact? What funeral home? And it's the loss at the same time. It's a real terrible thing. Well, think of losing somebody thousands of miles away, and who do we call and what do we do?
And if I can mention this, sometimes an established family in an established town, established thing, you live in where?
Winnipeg, Manitoba,
Win-
Canada.
All right,
Yeah.
Winnipeg. So you've been there for how many years? How many years has your family been there?
Well, my family's been in Winnipeg about 40 years.
Okay, so about 40 years you've been in Winnipeg. So you go to your local funeral home, there may have been a previous use of their services. They may be familiar with someone in your family or extended family. They're likely to say, hey, you know what? We've got this. And they may advance the funds. Because if a driver was to pass away, say, in San Diego, for example, they have absolutely no clue who you are.
No.
And there's several instances where the funeral home where the loss of life occurred, they want their money first.
Yes. Yeah.
Prior to, and we could do that, because our donors are phenomenal.
And he's talking about you right
Yeah, I'm
now,
talking
folks.
about you guys.
Fred and everybody who's donating. You guys are
2020,
phenomenal.
in 2020, our donors carried us.
Nice.
We lost all the shows, and there were a couple of real bad days in 2020. We didn't know.
I hear that.
And the phone rings at any given time, and we've had instances where we've had 5 or 6 a week requests for assistance.
Yeah.
And we do not want to build a vital resource for the families of the industry and then have them come to us or be referred to us and then have to say no.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where our donors are so important to us.
Very important, folks.
Absolutely.
And you know what? As I say, you may say $10. What's that going to do? Hey, we get 1,000 people do $10 tonight. That's $10,000.
Then we're good for the next 5 requests
Yeah. So
on average.
So $10, and as I say, if you can do 20 or 30 or 40, or if you're used to giving some donations to someplace, truckersfinalmileorg. Now, we got a Darlene on here right now, which is Cozy's Creations.
Okay.
And she's come up with something. I'm going to send her the logo, and she does coffee cups.
Oh, cool.
And she's going to put our Canadian Trucking Magazine logo on coffee cups and sell them. And the proceeds from that, she's going to donate to truckersfinalmileorg.
Thank you, Darlene. Thank you.
So, and I think Dar's on right now. Thank you so much
Absolutely.
for suggesting that. And folks, as soon as we get the coffee cups up, we'll put them on the site so you see where they are and how to get a coffee cup. You buy a coffee cup, and a certain amount of money is going to go to Truckers Final. So every little dollar helps. Every little help. And as I say, to make it fun, I've got these cards from our good friends at Pilot Flying J. And there are a couple of $25 gift cards here. And I've got a $50 Visa gift card. And we're going to draw that on Friday. We're going to give everybody till Friday a chance to get on the website, truckersfinalmile.org, donate $10 or more. For every $10 your name goes in. And if you can do it a couple of times, let's say you got $10 tonight, you got $10 on Wednesday, $10 on Thursday, whatever you got, and you can donate. And then just leave a note, because they can leave a note, right, when they're donating?
If they go to the website,
Yep.
and it's a PayPal, and it does accept credit cards. There's a notation spot or leave a comment or something like that. Just put something in there.
Yeah, put Canadian Trucking Magazine so he knows that you're part of the big family, so your name goes in. And
And you will get an instant receipt for your donation.
a tax receipt too, right?
Yeah, tax deductible receipt. And I want to explain something. I want to segue here because you mentioned that.
Yeah.
All right. First off, Truckers Final Mile is a U.S. 501c3 IRS recognized charity. We serve North American truck drivers. We have repatriated Canadian drivers, one in particular to Brooks.
Right.
And we've repatriated drivers to Mexico. But the way it has to work is because we're U.S. based, any monies that we receive or expend must remain in the U.S.
Yes.
So if the end result is that the family receives the remains, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay? But the airfare, the fees for embalming or anything else must be paid to U.S. company.
Right.
Okay? And from my readings, because I like to research everything involved in this, there is no Canadian tax benefit.
No.
Okay, so I want to reiterate that.
Yeah.
If should we get to the point, and hopefully we will soon, there's what's called Friends of Truckers Final Mile that could be established as a Canadian base.
Right.
And then that will entitle you to the Canadian tax
Benefits.
benefit.
Yeah.
So I want to be clear on that. We're a U.S. based.
Yeah. So if
charity.
you're in the U.S., you get the receipt. In Canada, it's the gift of giving.
Right.
It's like throwing that 10 or 20 in a Salvation Army drum as you're going past a Target or a Walmart or something like that. Salvation Army is a great organization, by the way. And there's a lot of fraudulent organizations out there. I want to give the warning about that. You really need to check where you're sending your money, especially these days.
Absolutely.
I've been getting emails and text messages on my phone especially the Netflix one. That's the biggest fraud.
Yeah.
Your Netflix credit card did not work. Your account is now suspended.
Yeah.
Please send your card information and expiry date
Right.
immediately on this email. Hello? No, don't do it.
Right.
Don't send your information. And there was another one. It was Facebook. It says my page is whatever in danger of being suspended. We require $25 or $50 reissuance fee or
Anything to
something.
get money.
Anything where you see people asking for money, don't do it. Even if it looks like the IRS or Revenue Canada or somebody who's legal, they will not send you a text message or an email or phone call asking for money.
Truckers Final Mile, the one thing we wanted to do, and do I have time for the whole story?
Oh,
You
absolutely.
want me to do the whole story?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Folks, stay on, share this out.
This is going to take a few minutes,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
You don't need to eat yet, right?
I'm starving, but
Okay.
I know there's food in that kitchen.
I'm going to keep it going.
All right.
All right. Truckers Final Mile, how it got going. I'm Robert Palm. I'm the founder. I've been in the trucking industry, driving a truck since March of 1981. In 1993, we lost my stepbrother in a tragic accident in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. And our family basically was scattered. And so we all had to come together and help get him home to mom. And, you know, in life, things stay with you. You know, it's a thing. In 97, the family nearly had to come get me. I got crashed in Columbus, Ohio. And, you know, my wife at the time, she got the 5 o'clock phone call in the morning. We've got him here in the trauma center. We don't know if he has a broken neck or a broken back, but we're going to get back to you later today. So you can imagine what she went through at that moment. My uncle lived in Columbus. She called my uncle, and my uncle flipped the TV on because we were the lead story in the news. We had Interstate 71 closed for 9 hours. It's not looking good, sweetheart. So anyway, I spent from July of 97 to March of 98 pretty much laying on my back, looking at the ceiling, going to rehab, trying to recover, get back in the truck. Didn't go back to work until late March of 98. Got back in the truck, driving again. 2010, outside of St. Louis, Missouri, my appendix ruptured. I drove into the ER. They put me on a gurney, straight to surgery. Long story short, a couple more months at home in rehab. In 2012, I was behind a truck tractor, a tanker, and the lady, she just went right off the road. And I'm like, wow, this is happening right here. And I went down in this ravine, and she came down on top of me when I got down to the truck, and I was kind of pinned under her in the seat for a while. First responders came, we put her in a helicopter. Make a long story short, her and I talked a lot about her family and her children, what would happen. And on the way out of that ravine, ladies and gentlemen, the Lord spoke to me. He said, Robert, something else I want you to do. And it became 2013. We sat down and put together a real good strategic plan, did the homework, what is a charity, how to do it, all that. And then we applied to the IRS, and May 1st, 2014, we began our service. And here we are. You know, and I'm still driving the truck. I mean, I've had the honor and privilege of sitting with the esteemed Dave MacKenzie for dinner tonight. And we're here at the truck stop in Albuquerque, and
Yeah, we're real truckers.
And we're real truckers. And
we aren't suits that are putting on trucker outfits. We're real truckers in a truck stop at a Denny's at a truck stop.
And every program that makes up our mission to reunite North American truck drivers and their family in times of crisis, every program that we have comes from life experience.
Yep.
Every single one. It's not sudden mumbo jumbo just made up.
No.
This is a written strategic plan of how we can help pay back to an industry that's been good to us.
Yes.
For all these years.
Absolutely.
And to assist families that have nowhere else to turn.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Man, it's so good to know Robert Palm, folks. People step up like this is terrific. I'm just going to answer. Dennis Abbott was at Denny's for breakfast. Dennis Abbott has contributed to it. Hank says, always love the T-bone steak. That's what I'm thinking of having tonight. And the breakfast at Denny's, whether it was in Houston, Texas, or by the docks, or by Calgary, Alberta. Great food service with a smile. You bet you. Angie Baby's on.
Hey, Angie.
Angie.
I'm keeping him from eating.
Yes, and keeping me being a good boy.
That's right.
Dennis Semick's there. Hey, Dennis, how are you doing? Richard Toker says, God bless you, Robert, for what you do.
Thank you, Richard.
And Sean says, you froze up, Dave, and you lost signal there for a bit. Hopefully not during anything. Margaret Foster Hyde, which is an angel as well. She runs Furry Hobos and Highway Heroes and helps puppy dogs get across Canada and North America.
Awesome.
And she's on right now. Keith Bazin, I'm lucky my boss makes sure drivers get home. You are.
Yeah,
You're one of the lucky ones, Keith. So am I with... Oh, and Angie Babies corrected me. It's called Cozy's Creations.
Cozy's.
Yeah, Coxey's. Sorry, Coxey's.
For the
Coxey's
coffee
Creations for the coffee cups. I'm sorry, Angie. Good thing she's there to correct me all the time. Yeah. Oh, and Darlene says, I'm here. And Dar is, of course, Coxey's Creations. Thank God Angie was there to correct me. And Michael says, would like to see about shirts and hoodies come out sometime. Oh, do you ever sell shirts or hoodies yet?
You know, it's hard for us to, we're a charity. And it's hard for us to actually do anything like a coffee cup or a t-shirt or anything because of the initial cost for the setup and you know, you order 500 shirts, it's going to cost you several $1,000s.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And then by the time you turn around and sell it, and then you have shipping costs and all that. Yeah, we're thinking that we're not there yet.
Yeah, we may have to connect you to one of those places that people can phone in and get them.
We've tried that.
Have you? Did it work or no?
Go anywhere.
No. And Hank says, well said, Dave, giving is receding. And Fred said, when I made the donation, I didn't give a about the receipt. So,
that's right. You know, that's awesome. But, you know, we tried and want and focus on keeping everything on the up. I have the books with me. I'm going to be showing them to Dave later on tonight, so he can vouch for anything if you want. On our website, www.truckersfinalmileorg, our 501c3 document is published for everyone to see. We're a state of New Mexico corporation. The state of New Mexico has what's called a certificate of good standing. Our last one was issued at the end of January of 2021. That's published for anyone to see. Our most recent, IRS 990s, I'll be showing Dave to 2020 because it's not on the website yet. But the others are on the website for anyone to look at. I always give everyone my cell phone number, 505-205-5603. I'm the founder of the organization. I like to be available 24/7 so that if anybody has a question about anything that we do, we're the stewards of your money.
Yeah.
This organization isn't mine. It's the industry's. It's yours. This is for the industry. I don't own it. I don't want to own it.
No.
The Lord chose me to be the founder of it. But it's yours. You allow us, by making a donation, you enable us to be able to help these other families. We're just the guys at the control booth, I guess you could say.
Yep.
And we
It's
get
just
it
the
done.
pilot in the cockpit.
Yeah, we make sure that, when we wrote out the strategic plan, we put specific needs in there. For example, we assist drivers that have had heart attacks, but we want to see admission papers. If you've been sitting in the ER for 8 or 9 hours, we really can't assist unless you're physically admitted
Yep.
to the hospital, because then you're going to be there a while.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And if we pay for a plane ticket to get your wife by your side so you can begin the recovery process and then get you home after you've been released from care, we want to be able to see that you actually are in dire need and have no other resource.
Yep. You know how Dar, which is pronounced Coxie, Coxie, not cozy, how Dar is doing the coffee cups for Canadian Trucking Magazine, is going to be selling them. I'll show you, and dollars going to Truckers Final Mile. She just sent me a private message. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this on live video or not, but she's saying she may get in touch with you about doing T-shirts for you.
Sure.
Because that's what she does, and doing them for you, people ordering them,
Right.
costing you nothing, and the T-shirts going out to the people, and you getting the funds into Truckers Final Mile.
We bought several hundred T-shirts like 5 years ago. We still got 100.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
It's tough. We
Yep.
take them to shows, and T-shirts are tough for us.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Yeah.
We don't have a store on the website yet. We do have a new webmaster, so we're working through that process. That's why the 2020 990 is not up on the website yet.
Right.
We got a new webmaster.
Yep.
There's technical behind-the-scenes stuff that we do all day. So that's getting done. And yes, I appreciate the offer. And please, yes, contact me.
Yes, she's fantastic. She is awesome. I've known her for so many years. And if people are wondering, I'm just going to say Fred started this off tonight with $25. He knew I was meeting him, and he wanted to start it off with $25 US into the kitty to get people motivated to donate $10 or more towards truckersfinalmile.org. Just go on the website. It's PayPal, so you can use a PayPal or use a credit card or anything else like that to make a donation, and then just leave that you're a family member of Canadian Trucking Magazine, because I want to put your name in for the draw. I might even have a few other things by Friday. I'm starting off with these gift cards worth $25 a piece and $50 for the Visa, but who knows, I might have some other stuff. I might even have some coffee cups by Friday and add some coffee cups into it. It's my fault Dar doesn't have them, because I need to send her a certain print file she needs.
Right.
And I've been on the road, so I haven't had a chance to send it, but I'm going to.
You don't have that capability in your truck yet, driver?
Yeah, I know.
I'll
One of
tell
them
you.
fancy things.
I've got one of those fancy things. I have a printer. And
I just have to fire it up.
Yeah.
Shh, don't tell her. She'll know that I'm just a slacker. Hank says, Holloway Chuck says, yes, just got a fraudulent request for partial shipping. Smartphone call. Yes, I get that for parcel shipping too all the time. Don't click to open it, folks. And Shauna Gray says, Adventures with Storm and Odin. Says, I love the warranty ones. I like to play with them. Oh yeah, when they call about your warranties and stuff like that. And Michael Paul Warner says Robert Palm and Tony Justice, as far as I'm concerned, are pillars in trucking. Yeah,
We're just drivers.
they're
Michael.
great people.
We're just truck drivers.
And Jan Goddard, my sister from another Mr. Joint. Jan Goddard had the unfortunate bad luck as me being her training officer for her first few years as becoming a police officer.
Right.
And I was the person that trained her. And,
You know what we all say about that, right?
yeah.
We're not worthy.
And she says that she's got some stories that she's repeated that never know. There was one chase we were in,
Right.
that she'd driven with me in a cruiser car already for a few years,
Right.
and I never wore a seatbelt ever in a cruiser car, and I didn't want to get hung up on anything, and I got an airbag and stuff like that. And I turned to her, we were in a good chase, and I said to her, Jan, put on your seatbelt. And she saw me buckle mine, and she went, holy crap.
Yeah, now it's time to buckle
she
up.
looked over, she saw we were doing about 140 miles an hour, and she went, oh my God, we're going to die.
Yeah.
And I had the unmarked, I was the person in charge of our detachment where we were, and I had a cassette deck. This is how far back we're going now. A cassette deck put in.
Oh, yeah. I
And
remember
I had a Ghostbusters video, and I pushed in the cassette and cranked it up to drown out the
Outstanding.
sirens as we did one hell of a ride that she will never forget in her life. But we had some great times. She's on right now. Thank you for your service, Jan.
Yeah.
Scooter is on there. Good evening, Dave. Hey, Scooter, how are you doing? Carl Freeman, amen, brother, to God finding you and putting you on this path.
There's no other explanation.
And
I'm not. I would never have done this.
no. And Keith Bazin says, Robert, keep talking. Dave is losing weight.
We're gonna keep them like this all night.
Yeah. And Carl says, still wish I could eat in a restaurant. Where Carl is he's in a province in Canada, Ontario, that's completely shut down.
Ontario's still shut down.
Still shut down, yeah.
There's if for those of you in Ontario, if you go to the lakefront in Toronto and look due south, where the Niagara River flows north into Ontario, there's a little place called Fort Niagara across from Fort George.
Okay, yeah.
And I lived 2 blocks on the beach. Is where I grew up.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Michael Paul Warner is throwing in a plug for me. He says, as well, you, Dave, you are a pillar too. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. I love trucking. Oh, geez, I just got sued again.
Uh-oh.
I shouldn't have said I love trucking. I just got sued again. I have, because of you, I got sued.
That's when you put TM at the end.
Yeah.
Trademark.
Yeah, because that somebody trademarked it.
Is that
The
right?
Manitoba Trucking Association in Manitoba trademarked I Love Trucking.
Right.
I've been using, just 4 years ago, I've been using I Love Trucking for 15 years.
Sure.
I can show in the magazine where 10 years, 9 years, 8 years ago I had it.
Right.
They trademarked it 4 years ago. Well, as you know, folks, he's the culprit. He's the reason I got sued, because you told me to make sure to tell drivers that when they're going to a new company, and listen to this is an important tip, when you're going to a new company, you get in writing from
Absolutely.
them that if something happens to you on the road, you get home.
Right.
Well, I got a call from the MTA, Manitoba Trucking Association,
Right.
which they have no truckers in that association. It's just company owners in that, saying they've had several complaints
That you
that
use that
there are
phrase.
people going in and demanding these letters, and that they're thinking I'm unionizing and I need to stop saying
Well,
that.
you got the wrong guy, because I'm the guy.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the deal. You know, we're neutral.
Yep.
We're Switzerland. Let me put it like this. We're all drivers. We know the industry. We know what we're doing. There's several things in the industry that no one is paying attention to. Number one, portable insurance.
Yes.
We recently had a driver that had served us with 2 tours in Afghanistan. He came home, a certain program to help soldiers get into trucks. he spent several years in a truck and became experienced, pretty good guy. He wanted to build on his career by moving to another company. I'm leaving you, I'm going over here. When he got over there, they said, listen, there's a 60-day gray area where your benefits are not going to kick in. The young man passed away in his truck 8 days prior.
Oh,
What are these associations doing for us?
nothing.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, and then the new company told us, we're sorry, there's nothing we can do. So Truckers Final Mile took care of that need.
Right.
When you go to orientation, everybody wants to know how many cents per mile. What kind of truck is it? Do I have to drive an automatic? You know, this, and this. Ask the recruiter, ask the CEO, because I know a CEO, I'm going to give away any company. I went to an orientation one time building my career, and this CEO's got a 600 truck fleet, do the math, 600 truck fleet. He's got 20 drivers a week in orientation.
Yeah.
He's got 30 trucks sitting out in the parking lot he's making payments on. He's walking around the orientation class handing out $100 bills. God love you, man. So, okay, good deal. So, you ask that CEO, should something critical happen to me, whether it's a heart attack, stroke, brain aneurysm, I fell off the flatbed, the tarp blew me across the lake, I passed away in the sleeper berth, what is your intention? It's a simple, basic question. May I have that in writing? Because when a soldier goes on deployment, the family of the soldier is fully aware of the government's intentions should there be an injury or loss of life.
That's right.
Why? Answer me. Why can't we do that in the trucking industry?
Exactly.
You will hear, don't worry about it. We take care of our own. You're the greatest thing since sliced bread. We've got you covered, driver. Oh, and we give you a $10,000 group life insurance policy. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how you feel about life insurance, but life insurance was created to replace a worker's earnings. Because most times in the trucking industry, you're going to find that driver that's out there 800, 1,200 miles away is the primary breadwinner.
Yep.
Now, if you offer me a group life insurance policy at $10,000, and I'm telling you as the founder of a charity that has been paying for the transportation and preparation cost to bring a deceased driver home, I'm telling you our average cost is anywhere between $1,800 and $2,600. So right off the top of that insurance policy, you just lost $3,000.
Yep.
So now you have $7 remaining. The funeral home, whether you're known to them or not, is going to request $1,500 to put a hole in the ground.
Yep.
Okay, so now you're out $4,500. Flowers, obituary costs, professional vehicle, etc., etc. Where's that life insurance policy going to benefit the family?
Exactly.
Okay, so the loss of life occurs in Nevada. Nevada requires the judge or somebody in a higher authority to sign the death certificate. It's Labor Day weekend. You've got a 5-day wait right there.
Oh, yeah.
Before that judge signs that death certificate. The death certificate must accompany the deceased. So if the driver's coming home by air, you wait 5 days to get the death certificate signed. Next thing you know, you got another day wait for the flight, blah, blah. You're 7 days to get your loved one home. And then you go to file that group life insurance policy. And Well, the company missed a payment 6 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or it's or sometimes, for example, in California, we get a death certificate that comes back that says pending because there's a toxology test, or maybe there's an ongoing investigation for some odd reason. Take a pending death certificate to an insurance company.
They won't even look at it.
They're not even going to look at it. They'll
No.
deny the claim.
Yep.
Okay, so your loved one is still. If the final payment, if the final settlement went to the truck payment, and the insurance claim is denied, your loved one is still 1,000 miles away.
Yep.
What is the intent of your company?
Yep.
Know that so that you can tell mom. Now, there is an alternative. You know, on my Father's Day, going to a charity was taboo. You didn't do it. You did whatever you could, you know, to do whatever you had to do to take care of the family. If you go, excuse me, if you go into any local funeral home, do that this weekend. Do it for Mother's Day. You go into a funeral home, you will find. I don't think I have it. Shoot. Pardon the silence. Ask any funeral director for a travel plan. Just go in and sit down and say, I want to know about a travel plan. Any funeral home, any good funeral home is going to have one. It'll be a little pamphlet like this. It won't be this, but it'll be like this. What a travel plan that these funeral homes have, and I'm not promoting any product, okay? No funeral homes sponsor us to endorse this or anything. This is just common knowledge, something to help educate.
Yeah.
Go get a travel plan. The initial cost is going to be about $500 or $600. One-time payment. You've got a travel plan. No matter where you are, if you're more than 75 miles from your registered address, that travel plan pays the cost of bringing you home. If Dave MacKenzie wants to take Angie Baby on a cruise,
Oh yeah.
and something should
If
happen,
I got enough insurance on her, she falls overboard, had a few too many drinks.
well, that travel plan would bring you home
Yep.
at no additional cost.
Yep.
If you retire and then you want to take your RV across the country, if something should happen, that travel plan will bring you home. Now, it's a one-time payment of $500 or $600, but there's a catch. And read the small print. Do your homework. That travel plan, you must contact the provider first in the event of loss of life.
Yeah.
If you go to your hometown funeral home, I want to bring my loved one home, they itemize it, they tell you it's going to be $2,800, and you sign that contract, it's going to be $2,800.
To that funeral home. Yep.
All right. But if you call the travel plan provider first,
Yep.
then you go to your funeral home, no charge.
They'll make the
So
arrangements.
do your homework on that. Be prepared.
That's a good tip. And Robert Palm gave another important tip here, and that's that the majority of companies, because of the insurance, there's a 3-month delay before your insurance starts. Now, some of the companies push it to 6 months.
Yeah, it can be.
But
It can be.
the important thing here is, especially for cross-border drivers and Canadian drivers, listen up. If you start with a company and they tell you, you ask them what the wait is for your group benefits. And if they say 3 months, you ask them to get you a Blue Cross plan or something for
Get
those 3
something
months.
for that
Because
grace
if
period.
something happens, like he says, if something happens, even 2 days before, you're out, your family's out, and you're calling Robert. Now, PFM, I'm going to give a plug for PFM, that pretty freaking marvelous company I work for.
Yeah, I saw that truck.
Yeah. What they do is they will give a Blue Cross certificate to their drivers for 3 months until it kicks in, because it's the insurance company they're dealing with. The insurance company says, no, we're not going to insure anybody unless they've been there 3 months because of turnover.
Right.
The first month, if you keep them, maybe you got them 2 months. If you keep them 2 months, they should stay 3. If they stay 3, you got a driver. So that's why they've got that with the insurance companies, because issuing policies and
Right.
canceling policies cost money. So, but make sure your company, the MTA is going to hate me now again because we're saying make sure to get a letter from a company saying that they will guarantee to get you home,
Yeah.
and make sure the company gives you coverage. Whether it's Blue Cross, I use Blue Cross because they're the biggest ones, and they definitely will pay, and they work everywhere, at coverage for that 3 months. That was one of the reasons they were trying to gag me, because you told me all this.
Yeah.
I said it, and
Well,
they couldn't gag me, so
we're just going to keep putting it
Yeah,
out there
so-
because informing the those behind the wheel
Yes.
is utmost.
Yep.
Okay?
Number one.
Absolutely.
I'm going to look see if
And-
there's.
And I'm going to put one more thing out there
Yep.
while you're looking at that. Is if you're starting with a new company, again, be prepared and have yourself a stash. Get you a prepaid Visa card or something like that. And the way to figure out how much that prepaid Visa should be is figure out how far you go. You know if you're coming into the States or if you're going to Laredo from Winnipeg, what's it going to cost? Have you seen Dave's truck? What's it going to cost Dave to get Dave home? So if you're going from Winnipeg to Laredo, you want to get yourself an estimate of a one-way rental.
Yep.
Unless you want to drive it back, get a one-way rental and find out how much that's going to cost you, and then estimate what your fuel is going to cost you. Estimate your food. Okay, if you got Fluffy with you in the truck and she doesn't have her shots, she's not getting on anybody's bus
No.
or aircraft.
No.
Okay, and you've got your CB, you've got everything.
I got all my junk in mine.
He's got all his. You're not going to get that on an airplane.
No.
Okay.
No.
So prepare yourself by getting a prepaid Visa, so that you know if you just started a new company, the trainer kicks you to the curb at the truck stop, which happens.
Yes.
Or the company goes under.
Which happens.
Which happens a lot.
It's a good idea to keep your fuel tanks full
Always,
all the time.
always keep
full, so that when that fuel card doesn't work, you got a full tank to head straight home.
Get someplace.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So be prepared in the event that an emergency occurs. Your truck's broke down. You need a new motor. It's going to take 2 months to rebuild it. Whatever the situation may be, be prepared in that you have some way of getting home and your belongings and Fluffy and everything else you want to do. And then take the time this weekend. Take the time for Mother's Day. Visit a local funeral home. Ask them for a travel plan. See what that might do for you to assist you and your family. And prepare like you would for a deployment.
Yes.
Because that's basically what we do. Okay, it's not as long. In certain times we might get by the house once a week, twice a week, or once every 6 or 8 months.
Yes.
It's been a year and a half since I've seen you.
Absolutely.
You know, how often, is something like that going to occur?
That's right.
Being prepared, the charity is a charity. It's there for folks that are in need. It's not an entitlement. And we have to verify each and every request for assistance. I like to say that, lawyers have cases. Our drivers are not cases.
No.
They're assistance requests that we give wholeheartedly to that family.
Yep.
And in May 1st will be 7 years, and we've assisted 326 families.
326.
19 this
326
year.
folks. And 19 so far
19
this year. So.
And we do it on your donations.
Yeah, this is kind of an odd question, but it just came to my mind. Has any of the ones you've done been COVID at all, or COVID related that
7 in 2020.
7 in 2020 were COVID
Yes.
certified related.
Yes.
See, I keep wondering, because with all the big audience out here, we've had and we've reached up to 10 million reach.
Right.
And we've had one so far that came on, and he got stranded out of town because he had to be segregated for 14 days and that. But other than that, I haven't had too many that have had COVID. So my brother had COVID, but he almost died from the COVID. Not because he had the COVID, but because of his wife. Because his wife got COVID, got really, really sick, lost her taste, her smell, bedridden sick.
Wow.
And so they tested him, and they said, "Oh, you got COVID." And he said, "No, I don't. I'm fine."
Right.
And they said, "Well, you're asymptomatic." What does that mean? Well,
That means you don't have any symptoms.
yeah, you don't have any symptoms, and
Right.
you got COVID. And so he said, "Well, I'm going to get tested from my own doctor. I think this is BS." He got tested. Doctor came back, said, "Nope, you got COVID. You're just asymptomatic." Well, he phoned me. He said, "Dave, I almost got killed by COVID today."
Jeez.
I says, "What happened?" He says, "I've got COVID." So he told me the whole story. I said, How did you almost get killed?" He said, "I walked into the wife's bedroom with a coffee and a cigarette. Said, boy, this tastes delicious."
Yeah, that'll get you killed.
Yeah. He says, that was not the time to joke around with a cigarette and coffee, because she can't smell anything or taste anything. And he says, yeah, he might need a new place to live. I said, well, not near me. But
Awesome.
so I know personally, like my brother, that got it asymptomatic. He got it from his wife, who's an insurance person that deals with lots of people, and they got the COVID. But for him, it was nothing. It was a walk in the park. He asymptomatic, everything else. His wife suffered with it. So the thing about COVID, man, there's been the flu and the influenza and stuff like that around for a long, long time.
Yeah.
You just got to be careful and be a germaphobe like me. I've always been a germaphobe. Like when this came on, I already had Lysol.
Yeah,
I
saw the video where you and the kids were doing the sanitizer at home.
Yeah.
That's great.
We've been doing this for
And
years.
tell them all I said.
Yes, they miss you.
Yeah.
They loved being with you. Caitlin loved being behind your booth with you at the Great American
You know
Truck
what?
Show.
There's other shows.
Yep.
Come on down.
Oh, they sure want to. They're
on down.
restricted to come from Canada. I get to come down here and sit in a restaurant.
That's
Look, I'm
right.
sitting
The
in a
border's still
restaurant.
closed
The
for
border's
us.
still closed. And I get to sit in a restaurant with Robert Palm, truckersfinalmileorg, folks. And we're asking you to donate $10 or more. I'll put the link up. And we're going to have some fantastic things coming up from Coxey's Creations, where we're going to have
forward to
coffee
that.
cups with Canadian Trucking Magazine. You buy one,
And
couple of
Fred-
dollars go.
Fred's put in his 25.
Fred's put his $25 in, folks, and it's PayPal. There's the link. And as we said, just for the heck of it, I know you're not doing it for this, but it'll just make it more fun. That Friday, I'll draw some names, and somebody's going to get a $25 gift card. Thank you, Pilot Flying J.
Absolutely.
And somebody's going to get a $50 gift card from Canadian Trucking Magazine.
Yeah.
So we do look forward to helping out. Last time we did about $1,000 or more, I think, or
I
something.
believe it was.
Let's see if we can do better than that this time.
like 1,050.
Yeah,
Something like that.
let's see if we can do it. We have such a reach. We have so many people. Sometimes I'm thinking, like the last video we did, talking about truckersfinalmile.org, we had 10,000 people alone just on our vehicle, on our video. Not talking about the reach. The reach was over 100,000.
Yeah.
Thanks to you sharing and caring. Share this, share this, share this. But we had 10,000. Could you imagine if each one of those person gave $2? That'd be $20,000.
Yeah.
So-
And I know that's a scope that, we operated last year. I'm going to tell you about last year. 2020, we walked into 2020 and we said, you know what, we're going to take off. This is going to be good. This is finally going to be it. And pow.
All
COVID.
the shows canceled. His main fundraiser.
Our
from
main
the public.
fundraiser show was the Mid-American Trucking Show. And then we always, 30% of the budget was gas.
Yeah.
The Great American Truck Show in Dallas. We all, the entire board and everybody else, we took the week off to go to Dallas. When we go to these truck shows, for example, the 75 Chrome Shop, and sometimes
Coming next weekend.
Next week.
This weekend, I guess, coming up.
Well, this
now that
week,
it's
yeah.
Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Gotta go. So we reach out to all the companies and everybody. Hey, would you help us get to the show? If I can mention Rodex.
Oh, absolutely.
Fuels.
Yeah.
Rodex covered the cost of our booth.
Nice.
For that show. As owner-operators, you know, we give up 4 or 5 days of revenue to
Yep.
attend these shows. No one at Truckers Final Mile in the 7 years we've been operating, no one has taken a dime. There's no wages, no bonuses.
In
there's
fact, they put
no
money
salaries.
in.
We put money
They
in.
put money in.
I just recently, because, you know, we got to look outside the box. We
Yep.
lost all the shows last year.
Yep.
And so I purchased a dry van trailer because I'm owner operator, and I bought a trailer and I donated it to the charity. And then we had it lettered up
Oh, it looks beautiful.
so people could see us.
Yeah.
Because we got to help get the word out there, and we didn't have the shows to do it. But just the you know, last year, 56 drivers that we assisted. We did 2 wheelchair ramps, which we do in a program. You know, other drivers getting home, a heart attack, and there was a brain aneurysm also last year, and a couple others, and you know, 45 deceased drivers. And each time we put it out on social media that we needed assistance to do this, we got assistance, and we got it from you guys. And there was a couple of days, and Lord, what are we going to do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, do you want to do this, Lord? Do you put me on this path to do this? Are we doing this? And the Lord said, yeah, Robert, we're doing this.
Yeah.
And our donors.
And boom, it worked. And thanks to you guys sharing it out too.
Now
Not
we-
only just donating, but sharing
Absolutely.
Truckers Final Mile out to people.
We ran the entire 2020 year with 0 reserve.
Yeah.
We didn't have a diamond left over.
Wow.
And no reserve whatsoever. And there were several times last year, if you go back and look, you'll see where at one point we had 4 requests in one day.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you're talking an average of, you know, $2,400, you know, that's 10 grand.
Yep.
We have no reserve. What are we going to do? But our people that follow us and support us came through for us and for these families, and it's phenomenal. We can't say enough thanks. You know, it's been awesome.
Yep.
So-
Thank you, everybody. And
Absolutely.
what was I going to? So this weekend, if you're going down to Florida, exit 329. If you're southbound, it's a different exit number northbound. I
Yeah,
can't
they
remember
rebuilt
what
that
it is.
ramp too.
Yeah.
They just rebuilt that.
Yeah.
It's a totally new
So
configuration.
it's a whole different thing. But if you're going southbound 329, and you'll and it's sold out. They can't put any more trucks
Right.
in
They don't have
the
space.
show. It's sold out for trucks. So, but go down there, drop in if you see it, and then go to M&M. I'm going to promote M&M because they're disabled veterans.
You
They've
tell them
served,
I'm coming down there to eat.
and I'm telling them that he's coming down to eat. They're great people. And then there's the outrageous truck show coming, and I'll give you the details. Taylor Barker's going to be singing at that one.
Yeah.
Tony Justice at 75 Chrome Shop.
Yeah.
And Tony, he's a trucker. He's out there trucking. He's not going to be on the road while he's there singing his heart out. And then you've got one, where did you say? South Dakota.
Yeah, Huron, South Dakota, first weekend of June.
First weekend in June here on South Dakota.
We'll be there. Truckers
And
Final Mile
I'm
will
going to
be there.
see if I can be there, just so I can. Hopefully, they open the border, and then William and Caitlin,
That would
the
be
kids,
great.
can be there.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, the tribe will be together. People, when we get to truck stops, they look at me crazy because they see me get out with at least 4 kids.
Yeah.
There was one time, I have 9 kids, and I've got grandkids and that, and I was just making a trip across the border.
Right?
And I know I shouldn't do this. Dar's still on here. She's a compliance officer. She's going to hit me. But
Yeah.
but I was going.
Tattletale on
Yeah,
yourself.
I was going across, and I had kids. I had their friends. I actually had about 12 kids in the truck, maybe a little more,
Wow.
because we were going to go to Pizza Ranch and stuff like that. Well, the U.S. Customs guy said, "How many people you got in the truck?" I said, "You really want to know?" And he says, "Yeah, I have to know that." I said, "I got
Right.
about 12. Yeah, BS. I said, "No, I do. Come up one at a time and report to the customs guy."
Wow.
And the reason why I'm telling this story is because about a year ago or so, before they shut down, when we were going down to the GATS, I had the 4 kids with me, of course, the 4 young kids. And I get to the border, and the customs guy says, how many people you got in the truck? I said, well, I've got my kids with me. He says, oh my God, you got about 16 kids with you? And I said, what? He says, everything goes on the computer.
Right.
It flashes up, travels with 16 kids in the truck on the U.S. And I just had, a month ago when I crossed in Sweetgrass, the customs guy started laughing, and I said, what's so funny? And
Yeah.
he says, it says you travel with 16 kids in your truck.
Wow.
I says, how can we get that taken off? He says, once it's on there, man, it's on
That's
there
it.
forever.
Wow.
So I wonder if I can tell a story. It's been long enough, and I won't mention the border,
Don't
but I'm
mention
going
the
to
border.
I'm going to tell a story.
They might be coming in here.
Yep, and
Yeah.
this wasn't me. This was the customs. I was coming up from the U.S. with a bonded load,
Okay.
and I had to go into the U.S. Customs to bring my paperwork in. And the customs officer was down by where you park your truck.
Right.
And he says, "Hey, Dave, you got a bonded load?" I said, "Yeah." He's just drive right up. He says there to the front, and I'll open the door so you can come in through the stairs there. I said, "Thank you." He said,
Yeah.
"Well, it's cold out and snowy,"
Right.
and I said, "I appreciate that." So I drove right up,
Yeah.
and there's a big lineup of trucks waiting to go across the Canadian Customs.
Right.
And so I drove up to there. He opened the door for me. He says, "I'll just take the papers." I said, "Thank you so much," because I got to give him the agriculture papers and
Right.
that. I said, "Thank you." So I went back in the truck, and I get into the truck, and as I'm pulling over, and it's a blind side, so I don't know if there's anything on the right. Bang, bang, bang on my window. And I thought, holy shit, I've hit something.
Right.
Because I'm pulling ahead slow and I can't see where my trailer is on the right side. I thought I'd driven over somebody or hit somebody. All I can see is it's a blue cap like what Border Protection wears.
Right.
And I rolled down this window and this guy jumps up, starts swearing at me, saying, "You're supposed to stop down there. That's where customs is. You're supposed to stop down there, not shoot the line and come up here." I said, "Hey,
He
did you
told
see
me.
the customs officer? He directed me to come up here."
Right.
And did it. "Well, that's not what you're supposed to frickin' do," and stuff like that. And I said, "Buddy, get off my ramps."
Yeah.
So he got off, and his truck was right there. He was stopped, so I pulled in front of him. And I pulled in front of him and into the customs. So when I got to the customs officer said to me, "Oh, what was going on there?" So I told him the whole story. He says, "And the guy got out of your truck and pounded on your window." I says, "Yes." He says, "Shows you're a former police officer." I said, "Yes, I am, in military." He says, "Thank you for your service." I said, "Thank you."
Right.
He says, "He's going in."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, that's not necessary. I am cutting in front." "No, you get out in front of a customs and
Yeah.
pound on somebody's window like that, he's going in."
Nice.
So I pulled forward off to the side to turn my reefer back on, and I was watching, and I saw him pull up to the window, and then I saw him pull to the docks and back to the docks, and I thought, holy shit, is he going to get the 3rd degree?
Yeah, because when they give you that,
Oh, yeah.
I used to run up to Guelph.
Yep.
Lit up
In Ontario,
and
yep.
then run over to Messina.
Yep.
And yeah, that was fun in the wintertime.
Oh, yeah.
That was
So,
real.
so I didn't tell the story at the time because I didn't want to say the border crossing or anything. And but you know what? I told Shauna the story and Slick and some people like that. And I also said thank you to the customs people both sides of the border. I always get treated like gold.
Right.
And to say one last story that make you laugh, since Slick had a bad day, if he's on, we'll make him laugh. I drove up to the border and Slick was following behind me,
Right.
U.S. side.
Okay.
And the guy types it in and he says, "Oh, thank you for your service," because it shows up on the
Right.
with my fast card on the computer. I said, "Well, thank you for your service. I appreciate it." And he says, "Well, how many years you've been doing that? And you're trucking?" I said, "Well, it's funny because I've been trucking for nearly 40 years and involved in law enforcement for 40 years."
Right.
And he says, "That's what it shows here." He says, "It's interesting." I says, "Hey, would you do a brother a favor?" And the supervisor kind of came up and says, "What kind of favor?" I said, "Well, the guy behind me is a friend that I know him."
Right.
And he says, "Oh." I says, "When he comes up, how about telling him he's coming in for a strip search?"
Nice.
And they said, "Oh, I don't know." And I says, "Yeah, well, these days, it's hard." I said, "Street theater. Trust me, he's not going to put in a complaint. You got to do it." And the supervisor said, I'll do it. Slick, oh, you should have seen the look on Slick's poor face.
God,
So
I hope
Slick
he's
pulls
doing
up to the
all right.
border. And, and I told him, and they said, okay, so what reason? I says, ask him his name. And when he says Richard Toker, say, well, that's not what it says here. It says you go by an alias Slick.
Right.
Well, that's my nickname. No, that's an alias. You're coming in. So anyways, when Slick pulled up to the window, what's your name? Richard Toker.
Right.
Really? You go by any aliases? No. What's this Slick? Oh, that's a nickname. No, that's an alias. And the supervisor snapped the glove and said, you're coming in, boy. And the look on his face, they says, oh, we can't do this anymore. They says, Dave told us to do this. And Slick leaned out the window and yelled, you son of a bitch.
I'm sure he's waved at you too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Slick says when they snapped the glove and said, you're coming in for a full search using an alias, he says, don't ever do that to me again. Oh, and I hope this made you laugh, folks. I like ending with a good laugh. And Michael Paul Warner says, former border trucker here. Yep, now he just runs local, which is great, home every night. And Hank Holloway Chuck says, that's too funny, Dave. Good old Sweetgrass, Montana. Were you there? Did you see that? He nailed the spot. I didn't say any borders. Did you see that or something? Yes, that's where it happened.
Yeah.
I gotta admit that's where it did happen. Paul Edwards is on there. Hey, Paul, how are you doing? He's from Australia.
Nice.
And Glenn says, Dave, I'll donate something on payday if I can afford to. Yep, anything you donate is good. Go through PayPal. It's the easiest way to go.
All you gotta do, just go to the website. It's all.
Yep, go to the
Just a
website
couple of clicks.
and let's do it, and let's share it out. Let's share it out. Let's share the website. Let's share out Truckers Final Mile. We'll keep talking about it. And Michael Paul Warner says that probably staying in the lower 48 from now on. Oh, no, Mike, he's staying in the lower 48. Sorry, I thought you were running just local, but he's running the lower 48. And Dave is starving. He's going crazy.
Yeah, because you mentioned just a minute ago, he says, I'd like to end with. So he's already pushing the fact that
it's food
time
time.
to eat.
Yeah. Well, it's not so much for me, but I know Robert, he wants to get down the road and he wants to get some miles in tonight.
We got to get some miles.
We got to get some miles. So I figure thank you for your time, everybody. Thank you for coming on. Sharing is caring. Yeah. And, hey, Friday we'll have a draw, but all week I'm going to promote Truckers Final Mile to give everybody a chance to send a couple of dollars. Ask your friends, share it out on your pages. Go to truckersfinalmile.org, either on Facebook or the website, and share it out.
Absolutely.
But for the Facebook page, share it out. It's got everything there. There's even where he's got an easy donation that you can share that to your pages. And let's see if we can do a lot better than we have. I know it's a tough year. I know with everything in the pandemic and rates are down and fuel is up and everything, but I'm not asking you to do thousands of dollars. Just do $10, $20, $100. Go to your company and ask your company to help do a match and help out. And everybody, thank you so much. Robert Palm, thank you so much.
You know, it's my privilege, my pleasure.
Man, I love calling you my brother.
Absolutely.
You know, that's just fantastic. And Dennis Abbott says, ha ha ha, poor Slick. Yes. And Michael's going to be wrenching until he gets back on the road. And hopefully you're feeling better soon.
Absolutely.
And everybody, be safe. And remember, it's not a punchline when I say I always would rather hear from you than about you. And from truckersfinalmile.org and myself, folks.
Thank you, everybody.
Keep on trucking.
Keep on trucking.
Take care, everybody. It's dinner time.
Gotta feed them.
Gotta feed me.
As long as we don't get you wet, we're all right.
From the Denny's. Oh, look, we're right in time. Low battery. The phone was about to die.
Yeah.
It may not even let me...